One Kyle McCord decided to put his name in the transfer portal along with Julian Fleming and about 10 of their buddies. And we've got to talk about it. So we're going to jump right into that conversation. Fellas, let's start with this tonight. I'm going to share Kyle McCord's goodbye letter first here. I'm going to read it. And then I want to dissect it because I think he lied in a couple of these statements. And then I'm going to let you all know what I know from a very good source, what actually happened. And then we're going to talk about it. So let me read Kyle's goodbye letter. I'm extremely thankful for my time at Ohio State. That's the first lie. Playing in the Scarlet and Gray was truly an honor. I don't think he really believes that. I'm grateful for all of the lifelong relationships I've made along the way here in Columbus, especially with the fans. My teammates, my brothers, I'm appreciative for each and every one of you. That might actually be true because, as Aaron has pointed out, your brother, your teammate, Marvin Harrison Jr. has made you. Thank you to Coach Day, Coach Dennis, Coach Fitch, and the rest of the staff and support team. That one might be true. Buckeye Nation. Oh, here is the bold-faced lie if there ever was one. Buckeye Nation, your passion is what makes playing in Columbus special.
In a generalized statement, I agree. However, in context, you're right. Dude's lying.
With that being said, I've decided to enter the transfer portal to explore other opportunities. Now listen, I have been very quiet about what I know about him. Because he was my starting quarterback on the team that I love the most. Here's what I know. Kyle McCord has a helicopter parent named Derek McCord. It's his father. And apparently, this is what went down Sunday and why he is in the transfer portal on this Monday as we record this December 4th. Before Ryan Day went to the press conference, he had a meeting with Derek McCord, Kyle's father. Derek wanted Coach Day to guarantee him that his son Kyle would be the starter in 2024. Ryan Day would not guarantee that. Ryan Day expressed to him, I don't want your son to leave, but like every position at Ohio State, you need to compete to be the starter. He needs to improve. We might bring a transfer in, and he needs to compete, and Aaron Nolan's coming in next year. And if he wants to be the starter, he needs to improve and compete. That wasn't good enough for Derek. Derek told his son he needs to leave Ohio State. Kyle McCord, instead of having a backbone, saying, Dad, this is my life. It's my life. Sorry, that's terrible 80s reference there. It's my life. Get out of it. I want to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. He tucks his tail and listens to Daddy, and he is now all of a sudden his name's in the transfer portal. Fellas, I'm glad. I'm glad because this gives me all the validation I need on what I thought about him. That he's, number one, he's not a competitor. Number two, he's not a leader. And number three, this is someone that will not beat Michigan and will not get a national championship because he obviously doesn't have the characteristics to be an alpha dog like Aaron likes to talk. Gentlemen, Aaron, you want to go first?
For sure, I want to go first. First of all, deuces, please get out. Secondly, never mind. I'm going to leave that part out because it's family friendly.
It wasn't last night on the live, according.
We're going to remember that tonight, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually make that into a YouTube short, buddy. You better believe that.
Bullshit. Yeah, that was magic, by the way. Secondly, though, I want to give the props to Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Okay, give the respect to him.
That's my coach.
Yeah, that is what we got to have. I don't care who your dad is. I don't care how much money he does or does not have or used to have or will have. You will compete here. You can stay and compete, or you can hit the door. Well, we saw what kind of competitor Kyle McCord is, and Eric 100% hit the nail on the head. The kid will never win a national title. I don't care if he goes down to Division II. He's not a gamer. He is not that guy. We've said it all year long. This just proves it. Just proves it. You know, I feel like I've honestly shared my thoughts and feelings about McCord. He had his flashes. He did great against Notre Dame. I'm not going to say that he's a trash football player. I'm not going to say that. I will say this, and I've said it before, Marvin Harrison made him who he is. That's just how it goes. They were high school teammates. Everybody knows this at this point. If he had a different high school teammate that was a wide receiver, I don't think Kyle McCord's at Ohio State. That's just my true feelings. But in general on the letter, it was about the generic goodbye crap that you see from everybody who doesn't actually care, in my opinion. I don't think he meant a word of it. Chris?
I think Ice Cube put it best when he said, "Bye, Felicia." Because let me tell you,
Prophet Ice Cube.
The prophet Ice Cube.
The great prophet.
you know, I had hopes for Kyle McCord. I really did, especially after the Notre Dame game. But, you know, I don't think any of us were 100% sold from the start of the season.
No.
And I just feel like this is the right time. I think this is a good move for both parties. He was not going to succeed in Columbus. He was going to bring Ryan Day and this team down. I truly believe that we are going to see, you know, we've seen a mass exodus to the portal. We're going to see a mass exodus to the NFL draft. This is the time. If there was ever an Ohio State rebuild, it's occurring right now.
Yes.
And I think it's time to go ahead and I do commend Ryan Day. As much as I get on Ryan Day, I do commend him for coming out and saying, you know what? That's not the way we do things in Columbus. You're going to compete if you want this job. Now, hit that reset button. Put together the team that's going to take us forward to where we need to go. I don't have a problem with this, you know, but makes JR look like a very smart guy when he sat here last night and told us it was going to happen.
Yeah, and JR's not with us tonight, and it's probably good because I don't want him to get a big head of what I'm about to say. But JR is incredibly intelligent, not only because he has his finger on the pulse of a lot of football teams in the Big Ten with his show. He has he has sources inside programs, multiple programs. And he kind of knows things before it hits the news sometimes. He was all over the Michigan stuff this year, all over it. Was predicting stuff sometimes 24, 48 hours before it came out and was landing bullseye every time. It almost felt like, and I can't wait to get his opinion on it. It felt like he knew this before we did. So this explains Ryan Day's behavior at the press conference on Sunday.
Being so non-committal, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He already knew. He knew he had that meeting with Kyle's father before he had the press conference.
And I feel like he probably had a similar meeting with Julian Fleming as far as where his play time was going to be.
We'll get into Julian Fleming in a minute. That one's a little different. There are several players on this team that I scratch my head a little bit on why you're leaving, because next year you could have competed and played.
Yeah.
Especially in that secondary.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people leaving in the secondary. What do you guys do?
Five guys leaving that secondary.
You know what that tells me? The younger players leapfrogged them.
Yeah.
Or Jim Knowles is leaving.
I was going to say, I've heard rumors of a coaching change coming, but
I hope not. But
it's not Knowles. No. Let's get back to the quarterback situation. So where do we go from here, guys? So Kyle McCord is definitely gone. That means for the bowl game, it is going to be either Devin Brown or Lincoln Keenholz. I think Devin Brown probably gets the nod if he's healthy, simply because he's older, number one. He's been in the program a year longer, and he was the one who Kyle McCord competed with for the starting position at the beginning of the year, and Brown lost out. However, Chris, you and I went back and forth about Devin Brown and Kyle McCord with a lot with Buckeye Nation in general on who should be the starter. I remember you holding my feet to the fire, Chris, and you said, Eric, you saw them in person. You have to name a starter tomorrow. Who are you going with? I told you Devin Brown is who I would pick.
Yeah.
Well, today things came out that Devin Brown had won the starting job. Did you guys know this?
No.
Yeah. Devin Brown was winning. Like, there were multiple coaches on this staff who actually told people Devin Brown is head and shoulders.
Now, I'd heard that back in the spring.
Yeah.
Same.
And guess who stepped in and had a meeting with Ryan Day?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
What's his nuts? His dad.
Daddy stepped in and had a meeting with Ryan Day.
So we got OBJ's dad, part 2.
Bingo. So this was an issue. I think Ryan Day had enough. He had put his foot down and he said, "This is not your program. This is my program. I'm going to run it because my job's on the line now." And maybe that's what it took for Ryan Day to wake up. I'm hoping.
I have to ask why it had to get to that point, though.
Inexperience. Trying to coach in an era where you have very fragile mental confidence in these players.
Just say they have no balls. Just say
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, there's no toughness.
There's no. Listen, Ryan Day.
I just throwing that out there. You know me, I'm the blunt guy. I'll just say it. No balls.
It's not just an Ohio State issue. It's a
generation.
It's a issue with this generation across the board.
Yeah,
look at college basketball. It's the same thing. So I think Ryan Day was trying to. Maneuver some very choppy waters there. And he went with in probably the path of least resistance because you had a chirpy dad, and now it's and then you know what? He gets into the Notre Dame game, has a moment, and as a coach at this point, you're like, okay, he had his moment, let's go with it.
Yep.
And then he had another moment at the end of the year. You know, it's amazing to think that you're 12-1 as a starter at a blue blood school in college football, 12-1. And you're going to walk out and leave after being 12-1 as a starter simply because the coach tells your dad you need to compete next year for that job. It's not guaranteed to be yours. And you walk out and leave. That tells me everything I need to know about you as a person.
Sounds a lot like the character we saw out of Quinn Ewers when he came in. He didn't want to sit around and wait a year to compete. He just wanted his money and go.
I think Quinn Ewers was all about the Benjamins.
But again, it's a character issue. They don't want to wait. They don't want to put the time in. They don't want to compete. They just want to hand it to him.
I'll tell you the thing about Quinn Ewers. I found out later on is he wanted to go to Texas the whole time.
Yeah.
The problem is in the state of Texas they won't let him.
College. As a high schooler, you couldn't. Yeah.
Right. So he came up north where they is allowed. And that's all that is in a nutshell. He never was going to stay here, ever.
No.
So let's get back to our topic here. You guys agree with me? It's probably Devin Brown's start in the Rose Bowl or in the Cotton Bowl.
I think it should be his start. However, I'd love to see both quarterbacks play.
Oh, I would.
Just given the situation. I mean, can we agree that as we've looked through our transfer list, as we've looked through and seen the potential for who's going to go to the draft, that this game may be a throwaway game? We want to win, but it's a throwaway game in a sense. You're looking to see what you're going to have next year.
What did I tell you all 2 weeks ago? The bowl game is the first is a glorified.
It's a tryout for next season.
It's a glorified scrimmage of what the team will look like in 2024. That's all it is.
So I say we just let it happen. Yeah. Give multiple guys their opportunities. Let's see what clicks.
I'm going to watch the game with no expectation of winning. I just want to see what.
No, I want to see what happens.
Yes, same. How do they respond?
Right. Let's look at the portal. So you have the Washington quarterback, Cam Ward, apparently.
Who I have heard has committed already to Ohio State, but I don't know if that's true.
Not true.
False. Not true. In fact, I've heard opposite. I've heard Ohio State offered, and he said no, thank you. Riley Leonard from Duke, hot to trot with Notre Dame, apparently. But now that Ohio State's got an opening, it's a possibility. Dante Moore from UCLA. Thing about him is he's going to only be a sophomore.
I don't want to see Dante Moore.
He's from Northeast Ohio. Played his high school ball in Detroit. Okay, that's something to look into.
If you want to send Aaron Nolan to Georgia, though, bring in Dante Moore.
If Dante Moore decides he wants to go to Michigan State, then that opens up Aiden Childs from Oregon State, who supposedly is interested in Michigan State. But here's the name I actually would like to see them go after, and I know that I'm probably in the minority with this one, but he reminds me of Dwayne Haskins, and that's DJ Ugo.
You psychopath!
Why?
Dylan Gabriel's who we want.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with Aaron on this one. I would go Dylan Gabriel over DJ Ukulele.
Indeed. Yes. That's who we need to go after. Him or Cam Ward. I understand we talked about Cam Ward, but Dylan Gabriel is the guy.
How many years of eligibility?
1 year. 1 year.
That's actually a good thing for us, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator at Oklahoma left for the Mississippi State job, I believe, so he entered the transfer portal.
Do you think he follows on the Mississippi State, though?
He may, but if he wants to win a championship,
he won't.
I don't know. Right. So we'll see.
Does he fit Ryan Day's style of quarterback? That's
dude, I'll tell you what, he's kind of like CJ Stroud light, but he'll run the ball.
So he doesn't. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Arm talent, it's hard to match what CJ was.
We will keep our
Does Bo Nix have any eligibility left?
No. We will get 10 years in college.
or Penix, Michael Penix Jr. We will keep our ear to the ground. As soon as we hear something, we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. But I'm going to say something that a lot of people might surprise people. I don't know that Ryan Day should go to the portal.
So
I think you ride and die with one of these two guys next year and Aaron Nolan.
I like that idea, actually.
Yeah, I'm not against it. 3-horse race in the spring, and then through summer and fall camp.
Now you might have to bring in like a fifth,
like we did with
Gabia. Yeah, fifth-year senior as your backup. You know, but
a leader in the quarterback room is what it was. An experienced leader in the quarterback room. Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know that the options in the portal are worth bending over backwards and spending $2 million on somebody, because that's what's going to cost to get a quarterback.
And risking the loss of one of your prospects.
Right.
So very interesting. Ryan Day, this is why he gets paid the big bucks. Julian Fleming.
Stone hands.
Probably, in all honesty, maybe one of the most underwhelming 5-star recruit careers I've seen. Even more so, in my opinion, than Zach Harrison.
More than Zach Harrison?
At least Zach showed up in the last few games of his senior season.
He did.
This dude never did show up.
I understand that Julian dealt with injuries for a large portion of his redshirt freshman years, sophomore years. He was never quite healthy. But this just goes to show you, sometimes stars aren't everything.
He was overrated coming in my opinion.
He did not play in a system that equated to him being a 5-star receiver.
Right.
Yeah.
That is true. But when I saw that, I was surprised, but at the same time, I really wasn't, because I knew he wasn't ready to go pro, and I don't know that he is going to be a starter.
He's not going to beat out Ennis. He's not going to beat out Tate. He probably isn't even going to beat out Noah Rogers for the third spot, or Jaden Ballard, or whoever
or the
slides in
freshman
there.
coming in.
Yeah.
So, this doesn't surprise me. I think I'd be shocked if he doesn't go to Penn State.
And I will say this: good luck to him. Good luck to him.
You know what? He was a great blocker. Why didn't we throw him at left tackle? That would have made more sense, because he for sure couldn't catch a pass. He couldn't even catch a mid-range 15-yard out. Dude was just stony.
We could have thrown him in the tight end room with G. Scott.
Is he related to Braylon Edwards?
Oh my gosh, you're brutal tonight.
Hey, I had to play Army last weekend. I'm still in that zone.
Do you remember, Chris, when I came back from the practice and I told the story about him dropping the pass and throwing his helmet on the field and having a temper tantrum?
G. Scott Jr.
And I was like, guys, I don't know that he's better than Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
And now that the season's over, I kind of wish they would have played Tate more.
Yeah.
Yeah. His growth would have been amazing. It would have been worth it.
Yep. So that one, again, whatever. Now, Chris, all them defensive backs.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Do you think that there's been rumors of a coach leaving? Do you think maybe we're losing one of our defensive back coaches?
If we are, it's Perry.
I would hope so. Because I think just because I'm saying if we got to lose one, I don't want to lose Walton.
Exactly.
True.
Cam Martinez, I don't think that
they gave him plenty of opportunity.
He's a loss from depth. That's all he is. He was not going to be a starter.
My light just fell over. Can you tell?
I can see that. Ryan Turner, I think there's a guy who just really never reached his potential. You look at now; these are the ones that get me. Jair Brown.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of seeing Jair leave. I think he had potential to move into that 2 deep this next season.
Yes,
because I figure we're probably losing Denzel to the draft, most likely.
Probably.
Kai Stokes, a guy who big hitter. I hated seeing Kai Stokes leave. Those two guys, I really think we'll miss more than the others.
We will. Those two were two that I had my eye on to play.
Those were two young guys who I thought had an opportunity to get playing time next year in Stokes and Jair Brown.
Yeah.
They may not have been starters, but these are guys who would have at least competed to be in the 2 deep.
Yeah, they would have came in like Hancock and Matthews did this year and contributed. I feel like they were those are two good talents that we just lost.
Agreed. That one stings a little bit. So, well, there's one thing for sure. They are going to lose. I believe I read today anywhere from 32 to 35 players when you count seniors, juniors who will probably go pro, and guys in the transfer portal. That's 40 to 45% of your roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you know what that means? That means Ryan Day has to use the portal. He's got no other choice now, because you're not bringing in that many true freshmen in the recruiting class. It's too late for that. So you have to use the portal. So he is going to have to go to the portal, and I expect Ohio State and Ryan Day. I want them. I don't expect it, but I want them to be very aggressive in the portal. Go get the very best players. And if it makes people mad in the spring and you lose even more, so be it. You don't have time to be a nice guy anymore.
No.
No, that time's out.
This is all about roster building and you winning and rebuilding your program. You've got a really good freshman group that'll be sophomores next year. You've got a pretty doggone good incoming freshman class again. Build around those guys and bring the very best talent from the portal you can.
Here's something else I was just noticing. Again, there's been rumors that one of the coaches is leaving. We're also losing a kicker, and a lot of these guys played on the special teams. We'd be losing what we predicted may have been the most useless coach of all.
But if you're leaving because of that, then
that's not why they're leaving.
Well, I'm not saying that's why you're leaving necessarily, but it could have been a factor. Obviously, it's not a factor for McCord. It's not a factor for Julian Fleming, I don't think. But,
Well, Eric, I wanted to talk about this a little bit too. The last, I don't know, maybe it was last week or week before you brought it up, we just can't ever seem to put it together. We're always losing half of our star players one year, and then we're stuck trying to catch up young guys to some experience, and it just never seems to line up. Or we'll have, CJ Stroud and 60 points on average per game of offense,
and
but we're allowing 65. You know what I mean? There's always something that we just can't put together. My dad talked about it too, and you brought it up, and that's what made me think about it. The youth movement. He is growing a team organically so that we have it put together. We're not going to have a CJ Stroud, Travion, and Marvin, and then the next year they're all gone and we're stuck trying to figure stuff out while we have a loaded defense like we did this year. You're going to have Aaron Noland. Chip is going to be an elder statesman in the running back room, but you got Dallin Hayden. You got all these young wide receivers coming in. I don't think next year is going to be a national championship year. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But usually there's a year of growing that sort of thing. Now, 2025, I would put money on us really, really pushing some teams.
Yeah, I think you're right, Aaron, which is why I think that Ryan Day, actually is saying I'm okay with a youth movement next year. Yeah. And if that means that Kyle McCord is not my starting quarterback, but Aaron Nolan is, and he takes those bumps and bruises as a freshman, then so be it. And I think if he's up front with the fan base, hey, this year we're going to try like heck to beat Michigan. We're going to try like heck to win a Big Ten title and get to the college football playoff. But we're running with my best talent, and they're mostly freshmen and sophomores.
And we may go 9-3, 10-2, but
we might.
It's going to develop.
But I think the fan base would rally around that.
I would actually stop, screaming about it.
Because he's being upfront and honest about it.
Yes. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm. So let's see how it plays out this offseason. This is going to be, in my opinion, since we've started this podcast all the way back in 2019, the most intriguing offseason we have had yet. Just with all the storylines and all the decisions that Ryan Day has to make, this offseason really is going to tell us not only about which direction he is going to go, but what direction this program as a whole might be going moving forward.
Hey,
all right. Yeah.
One big positive for you. You're not going to hear next man up because they're all in the portal.
Well, you know where they're all at, Chris? They're hanging out there in Tatorville, is where they're all at.
Tatorville.
They're on their way to play for.
Don't be a tater hater.
I think. Let me pull this up real fast.
Hater tots.
Monk sent me a message because I asked what we should call Tatorville. Let me see if I can find it real fast.
He said we should be the hater tots.
The hater tots. Your Tatorville podcast name for you can be the hater tots.
Who are we hating on? I don't get it. Other than McCord.
Martell and McCord.
Well, that's okay.
Tate Martell and McCord are over there in Tatorville throwing the football back and forth.
And Bryson Shaw's trying to catch it and block it. He can't. So
They're just tossing it over top of him. He's in the
Cam Martinez is standing on the side. Hey, what about me? And it's just not there.
Cam Martinez is probably sitting on his backside. He just got beat by a receiver.
Probably.
You guys, ruthless.
Him and
All right.
Bryson Shaw looking like the Keystone Cops.